I'm Dr. Bob Grakowski, and welcome back to the Better Brain Academy. We have a thing called power, personal power, and that means our ability to act. The challenge is a lot of people don't realize they actually have it. So we're trying to give you knowledge so you can actually put these things into action steps. We did the testing, the brain span testing, to see where is your body out of balance, how's that affecting your brain, and how's that going to affect your overall long-term health. So today we're talking about our memory. Last time we talked about our cognitive flexibility, and we're talking about our processing speed and our ability to actually have sustained attention. All of these things, these cognitive functions of the brain, are related to the types of foods, our body chemistry. So there's three things that really affect our brain: traumas to the brain, concussions, old injuries, toxicity in the body and in the brain, and our thoughts. Okay, so these three things, trauma, toxicity, and thoughts, are critical to make sure that we are reducing toxicity, that we're actually reducing some of the effects of old traumas, and that we don't have stinking thinking, that we've got good focus. So if you've fallen off a little bit, make sure you go back to your eating log and really see what types of foods that I maybe start putting back in. We are creatures of habit, and a lot of these habits you've had for a long period of time. They are memory processes in your brain. Your brain is a memory organ, and this electrical conductivity, it's like these connections, these synapses. You need proper neuropeptides, which means certain proteins. I'm a big fan of making sure that you're getting all the nutrients. I recommend Bragg's amino acids. If you're not familiar with that is something you can have in your refrigerator. I actually will use it as over vegetables, as it's a sauce that you can put over foods, and it gives you all of your amino acids. Paul Bragg was the mentor for Jack LaLanne, and he has certain products that I highly recommend. So get some Bragg's amino acids because they help getting all the amino acids and proteins that you need for a proper health of the brain and the nervous system. So today we're talking about memory, and it's important to look at a certain part of our brain called our hippocampus, a little part of the brain in the middle temporal section. And one of the most important things I hear from patients is, I feel like my memory is lapsing. I walk into a room, forgot why I went in there, I can't find my keys, can't even remember names of people. Now, Alzheimer's is something that happens 20, 30 years before the actual diagnosis. In this certain section of the hippocampus, it's called the perforant pathway. They have these toxic proteins, these amyloid proteins that start to affect the ability of the synapses to heal. And what they're finding is if you reduce the toxicity, the acidity in the body, you're supplementing or getting enough omega-3s, and that ratio is in better balance. There's another nutrient called phosphatidylserine that may have shown up on your brain span report. A lot of good quality omega-3s have phosphatidylserine. We call it PS in there, and vitamin D. They supplement that in there because they're so important. They all kind of bind together for that cell wall. Now, PS, phosphatidylserine, helps bring oxygen into the cell and also repels toxins. So it's kind of the gatekeeper for getting good stuff into the cell and bad stuff out. So look at your omega-3s and see if it has that. I know the ones that I use personally has that and vitamin D in it. So we want to make sure that you're getting enough of those good nutrients. But you got to be able to use your brain appropriately. You got to create these synapses. So there's some follow-up videos. There's one that is attached to this that's remembering lists. How'd you like to go to the grocery store and have 40 or 50 things on your grocery list and not have to write them down? You know exactly what those things are, what number they are in the list. Well, I do that all the time, and I've been doing it for years because I like to create those synapses in the brain so that you're always using the brain and the memory processes. If we don't do that and we don't stimulate our brain, it's like wilting of things. They just start to pull away, and these neural connections, these neuropeptides, you start to lose that. I have patients in their 90s and close to 100 that are actually as sharp as a whip, and they use a lot of these strategies and techniques to keep their brain healthy. So we'll be sharing some videos through the Academy on how to remember names, how to remember lists and numbers, and whole processes so that you can use your brain appropriately. There's different parts of your brain that you use when you learn this strategy. So make sure that you watch the memory video attached with this process. The other aspect of memory is if we don't get enough sleep, or what type of things are you remembering? Our brain is a memory organ. So if you're putting blue light into your eyes before you go to sleep, it affects that part of your brain and it will affect your memory. So make sure that you're turning your phones off, turning your iPads, things off, television before you go to sleep, because it will affect your brain. If you ever listen to a song before you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning and you're singing that song, well, the last several minutes that whatever you put into your brain before you go to sleep, your brain's going to keep it on a repeat cycle. It's going to keep doing it over and over again. So calming down your brainwave pattern, listening to really quiet music or things, being peaceful before you go to sleep, rather than watching like a late night show that's got all these guns and fire and arguing and stuff. That stuff is stored in your brain. What you see, you're going to keep repeating. I see kids on the video games, they're fighting and battling until all hours of the night, and they wonder why they have these hyperactive states of this fight or flight. It affects your brain. So remember that you want to put good stuff into the brain. You don't want to have stinking thinking. You want to make sure that you're putting good stuff in, and that's going to calm down your brainwave pattern. It's going to affect your overall memory, and it's going to affect your brain health in the long run. So you want to make sure that you've got the proper nutrients, as we talked about, that you're using your brain appropriately, meaning preparing it for rest, because your brain closes all those files of the day so that you do sleep better. And then oxygenation. We'll be talking more about exercise in the brain in future videos, but even just walking 30 minutes a day, 4 to 5 times a week, increases your memory, increases your brain health, increases your heart health. You don't have to go to a gym and break a sweat and do all these things. Just getting your shoes on and taking a walk out in nature is one of the best things. They've shown with studies where if a person does that regularly, on memory tests, they're up to 25 to 30% improvement in just a matter of a few months. So put these things into action. Remember, you have this personal power. You're learning the knowledge, but power is action. Go back, listen to some of the other videos, start to rewrap and do that. So as we go through the academy, you're going to get stronger, healthier, and have a better brain. Look forward to talking to you soon. This is Dr. Bob. Have a great rest of your day.